These are exciting times for the UK's rail supply sector, with more and more of us choosing to travel by train and the government providing significant investment in rail over the coming years. Infrastructure projects and upgrades on the network are creating new jobs and boosting the development of new technologies, as Nick Thatcher reports.
London Bridge has been transformed into a modern, spacious and fully accessible station, fit for the 21st century. It's one of the biggest upgrades on the UK rail network and one that's already getting a big thumbs up from passengers.
The old station was diabolical. The new station provides good infrastructure for the city, certainly in this part of the city as well, and it should be there for years to come.
I love it, particularly like the downstairs, and it's easier to find your way to the platforms and to get the information.
I love the lightness of it. I love the fact that the trains run on time, and I love the fact it's really easy and accessible. So fabulous, well done, good job.
And that good job, which saw Network Rail, its contractors and the supply chain all working together to achieve, has now become a blueprint for the delivery of major complex projects.
It took about 5 years for us to build that, and during that 5 years we were in and out of that station every single night, every weekend, doing major works with almost no disruption to passenger service at all. It gives me a real sense of pride in our people because what they've done there is just spectacular.
And new figures suggest the role rail plays in the wider UK economy is much bigger than previously thought. For the industry contributes £36 billion in economic growth and £11 billion in tax revenue each year, as well as employing 600,000 people, more than the workforce of Birmingham.
Up to 2,000 rail staff have walked out today.
10 days after the introduction of a new timetable, and the network is still plagued by delays and cancellations.
But all too often in the noise of the day-to-day headlines about timetables, delays and strikes, the public can lose sight of the good news stories and the role played by members of the Railway Industry Association in enhancing and renewing our railways.
Well, it's always easier to tell a bad news story than it is a good news story, but what we have to be much better at is recognising when there is a good news story in the industry and making the most of that, and actually attaching as many elements to that good news as we possibly can.
And RIA's members are playing a major role in projects like the re-signalling and the remodelling of Derby Station. Here train lines converge from London, Birmingham and the north. The short-term pain for passengers of a partial closure will be far outweighed by the long-term gain of faster line speeds.
The last major investment in signalling control on this, what's called the Midland Main Line, was in the late 60s. So what this project does is effectively straighten out, in real simple terms, the railway tracks. And at Derby, effectively, if you think of it as an hourglass with a pinch point, what this signalling investment does and the associated platform investment does is removes that bottleneck. And that's why it's so important.
We have got a once-in-a-generation level of investment coming in the next control period. The Derby remodelling blockade really marks the start of that for us. It's going to require a much closer relationship with suppliers, a more collaborative relationship with suppliers, giving the suppliers more input early on in the projects to the outcomes that we want to achieve, which will give us all-round better outcomes for the passengers sooner.
Big infrastructure projects like these are more visible because of their sheer size and scale. But behind the scenes, the rail supply industry is also working hard to address some of the challenges and opportunities presented by the digitalisation and decarbonisation of the railway.
I think one of the largest challenges and most exciting elements is the concept of decarbonisation. How do we move away from the internal combustion engine? I can see a situation where we have a multitude of different technologies, battery, hydrogen, electrification, discontinuous electrification, that will help the whole industry move away from that.
If you look at the digitalisation of rail, that will then allow us to run trains closer together with the same safety focus and increase the capacity of what we can run on the rail network. But it also improves the timetabling and how that's electronically and efficiently done, and also just the pure communications with the travelling public and the ticketing services. That arena is truly quite exciting as to how that's going to impact on the UK industry.
RIA's members are playing a crucial role in the rail revolution underway in the UK. Crossrail will open next year, plans for HS2 remain on track, and projects across the country will change the way we as passengers experience the railway, as well as provide a steady pipeline of work for contractors and their supply chains for years to come.